Kevin here once again for the Southern Fried Horror Show, and we are in Lenoir, North Carolina for the Tiny Terror Con. There was a lot to do and see at this year's Tiny Terror Con, and one of the highlights for me was getting to chat up some of the guests. And one of the coolest I got to talk with is indie auteur and grandma director Bobby Canipe Jr.
So I grew up loving movies, watching movies like everybody else, but like every weekend I spent in the video store, I would see these movies and these covers especially, and I go home and be like, man, it would be cool to make movies like this one day. But I always thought it was really more reserved for like, you know, people way above me. Like just everybody like me, like just a normal dude could never make a movie. So for years I just was a huge fan of it, and I wanted to be part of it. So I thought, well, maybe reviewing movies, maybe I can do that. So I did that for a little bit. And then one day I thought, well, let's just make a movie or make a little short with some friends for fun, then for a hobby. So we did it. Years later, time went by, I got to get that itch again. And my documentary, Mom and Pop, the Indiegogo video boom of the 80s and 90s, I did that to kind of expand on YouTube because I was making little YouTube skits and stuff like that. So, and like little short 5-10 minute documentaries. So I thought, well, let's do a longer one. And it's basically what I'm doing on YouTube is the way I looked at it. So I got with my buddy Cagney Larkin to do camera, and we just started interviewing people about their stories. People started loving it. We edited it, and we made the movie. And I was like, wow, we did it. And I thought, well, maybe I can make movies. So I never looked back. I started making movies, man. So it's the covers. Like when I was a kid, we would go to the video store. I walked in and I would go to the horror section, and I didn't know what horror was. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I didn't know what this was, but I thought these covers and what's on the front of these look unlike anything I've ever seen. So I would look through them forever, and I'd ask Mom, can I watch it? Can I watch it? My mom was real young, so she started letting me watch these movies. And at 5, 6 years old, I would just, initially get attracted by the cover art and then start watching. And I thought they were just more interesting than anything else that was out there. And it just kind of stuck with me the whole time. Yeah, I would say so. There's a few. Number one, I would say Brad Sykes. He's director of Camp Blood and Zombie Chronicles, amongst other things. When I was in high school, I worked at Hollywood Video, and they would put Dead Alive production videos out, and his movies were on there. So I would tell people, hey, these movies are really cool, because I really loved the low-budget appeal of it and the fact that, like, anybody could make this movie. This looked like normal people making a movie one weekend, and I thought, that's cool, that's creative, So I would tell people, hey, if you're looking for a horror movie, you should rent this. They would look at the back, and they would see how cheap it was, and they'd be like, nah, I'm good. So I would go in, and I'd be like, I'll give you a free rental. I will override and give you a free rental if you rent this movie, So that was Brad Sykes' movie, Zombie Chronicles and Camp Blood, that I would do. So when we did Mom and Pop, I thought I got to hit up, Brad. So we actually flew out to L.A. I got to meet him. I got to tell him the story about giving people free rentals. And, I got to hear about his do-it-yourself attitude and, his friends being in all of his movies. And I've ran with that. Anna Clary, Angel Bradford, and Kelsey Baker, they're like in all my movies. And I kind of got that from seeing these guys put their friends in all their movies. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm editing 31 Kills right now. I'm expecting it to be out in a few months, and that should kick off pretty much 2024 for me. Final Inning will be my first big production. It's actually going to be the biggest production I've ever done. Budget-wise, I'm hoping it's double the biggest budget we've ever did. We have the entire Burlington baseball stadium, inside out, dugouts everywhere, full control. So it's an insane location, but that's what I'm working on first. Secondly, I have a prequel to Grandma that I want to do that actually shows kind of like how it came to be. So that's one, and then I've got a werewolf movie that I want to work on too. And then in between those, I say I'm going to work on like 3 projects, and then I get sprinkled other projects in. So I'm sure SRS will have me doing something. I'll be working on something over here or something, but those are my 3 big ones for sure. Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm glad that you said my baby, because Grandma is. Grandma was my love letter to shot on video, straight to video movies of the 90s, like at the video store I saw, that had these crazy covers, and it just intrigued me to see what was inside of it. So It's awesome to see, man, especially with Culture Shock releasing the Blu-ray and doing the limited slipcover. I'm a physical media guy. I love it. So to see my stuff on physical media is really cool. And I'm grateful because, like, when I started out, I had nothing to show. And people really started supporting me just solely on what I was doing. And, I didn't have anything to show them. And they took a plunge and a leap and supported me and continue to. Yeah, so Grandma, from the beginning, I wanted to shoot on video. So we shot on mini DV, 90s camcorders. And I wanted to make it my love letter to that time that I enjoyed so much at the video store. So I thought, I've become friends with a lot of these people that I am actually trying to emulate now. So why not bring them on board as not just executive producers, but also creative consultants? Give me some of their tips, some of their tricks, some of the things they pioneered that at the time nobody else had been doing on that small of a budget. So, I hit up Donald Farmer, I hit up Mark Polonio, like a lot of the people you said, Todd Sheets, and every single one of them that I hit up was game. Nobody said no, and it was pretty awesome. I sent them out basically questions for a cheat sheet. I said, any camera techniques you used, any audio techniques, how did you do your special effects, how did you hire, cast, shoot, and then I got everybody to answer those questions, and I tried to take something from every one of those people and put into the production of Grandma, so a touch of them is inspiring this whole movie. Something that I'm still trying to get over myself is not trying to be like everybody else. There's a lot of that. So you're going to see people that are, I'm going to make a movie like this or a movie like this. I wanted to do that when I first got in. I thought I wanted to do that anyway. I thought that's what I needed to do. As I started making movies and I would write them, I'd start realizing, is this cookie cutter? And I'd start adding things in, especially like with films like Amityville Ripper. I saw Amityville's coming out everywhere. So with Amityville Ripper, the twist I put in there is that halfway through they realize they're in an Amityville movie. They start using the script to get out of it. So they make jokes about this genre. So that's what I would recommend to people. Make it your way, even if you're like, nobody's going to like this. I'm the only person that thinks this is cool. You're not. I think of weird, goofy stuff all the time. And I think there's no way anybody else is going to think this is funny or cool. And then sometimes I put it on Facebook, and I'm amazed at how many also think that. So it's pretty cool.